The better matchup, or they play the mirror matchup, who wins that one?
Yeah.
So assuming that sword is the one that's banned, and assuming that D-Shift is going to beat Control Blood, and then you play Control Blood against something, you know, you play Control Blood against Neutral Forest.
Or Haven.
Or Haven.
Or Haven.
Yeah.
It depends on
We're in the Forest map. It's going to be Forest. Uh-oh. It's Control. Oh, we get it right off the bat. We're jumping right in there. All right.
Forest map with double Vanilla as leaders.
Vanilla, my favorite card, actually.
Yeah, I love that card.
Yeah, Vanilla.
Yeah, Vanilla.
I love it.
Excuse me, it's Vanilla.
Oh, Vanilla,
sorry.
you're
I'm
right.
sorry.
You're right.
My bad.
Sorry.
Mispronounced.
Yes. Thank you, Rainey, for keeping us in check.
And JaZe, you know, not able to draw Odin the entire day, has it in his opening hand.
That's where it belongs. So we get to see the mirror matchup right up quick.
And this is another one of those, you know, pull out your pillows matchups.
Yes.
Control Blood versus Control Blood. As we saw earlier, extremely exciting. You know, nothing happens until something starts happening.
Oh, and I made a mistake. I forgot that JaZe doesn't have the sword. He's got the Force. You were right. Yeah,
right.
So there isn't going to be a mirror matchup with that. So, yes. So, yeah, we've seen this match. I hope it's as exciting as last match. That was so good.
Exciting.
I want to repeat.
Depends on how you define that word, I think.
For me, Control v Control going really late into the game, it can lead to a boring game, but a game like that, like, come on.
That ending was great.
That was a great ending.
After the first 30 cards were played.
Yeah. This one is going to be much the same. There's not a lot outside the box here. Like we said, there are, instead of spawns, we've got the Maelstrom Serpents. Maelstrom Serpents, just to actually fully tell you what they are, it's an 8-play 0.55. It will summon a copy itself when you play it just normally, but if you're in Vengeance, it fills the entire board with 5/5s, which could be good against certain decks.
Which sounds very OP,
right,
but
right, exactly.
It's not. It's not at all.
But we're playing against, as Envy affectionately likes to call Seablood, AoE removal.deck.
Yeah, just whatever. You don't get to play the game .deck.
Right. Right.
Also, with Blood Moon available, you spawn 4 snakes. So.
Right, of course. So even limiting the number of snakes, because it's really hard to put yourself or your opponent into Vengeance in this matchup.
But 4 is better than 2.
That's true.
It's twice as many as 2.
That's true.
So
it could just be a turn where there's no revelations and then it's just 20 damage. And
yeah,
you can't
true.
Deal
I mean,
with
yeah,
so
it is possible.
There is a random possibility that it just wins the game outright.
Save the Serpents till your last card. You know.
And I'm almost 100% positive both players are playing at least one Bahamut, if not 2. I've been seeing an increase in number of Bahamuts. Usually it was 1, but I think people have been opting to put the second one in there because, yeah.
JaZe actually opted to Hungering Horde, the Belphegor, and then pass.
Probably to set up for the Sabwar next turn, yeah.
Interesting if Gengur evolves. JaZe may want that.
I actually kind of like that. If he evolves it, there's not a clear-cut answer for it. He kind of like forecasted his play, and Gengur could play around it. But, like you said, I mean, it's using one of his evolution norms.
Yeah, he may want him to. So. Also, really, pushing 6 this early doesn't actually matter.
Right. So Gengur, it might just be also JaZe being like, I'm going to make Gengur think a little bit about not a whole lot and just confuse him.
JaZe wants to drag the first couple turns out even more than they would have been dragged out.
Yeah, get him fatigued before we get to the late game so he makes that one mistake.
He actually evolves. He goes for it.
Shall I grant your wish?
Let's see if this played right into JaZe's hands. I don't know. With the Righteous Devil, this turn becomes a little bit more difficult to deal with. Can't just easily Sabwar anything anymore. Still gonna play it.
Still gonna go for it.
Quench them.
Most likely gonna evolve and take out the Righteous Devil.
Right. Trade the Bane for the Bane. You're not gonna get hit for 6 because he doesn't want to put you in Vengeance.
Yeah, perfect. Very well thought out turns by JaZe there. And now, do you even play the Blood Moon here to set up for next turn? Because your first Blood Moon's going away, so you can Emeralda with Impunity, and maybe even Diabolic Drain.
I think his biggest decision this turn is whether to attack or not. If you assume that if you've assumed this whole time that your Belphegor is at 1 because Sabwar is the card he's trying to play, then you net gain 4 damage on him if you go face. So
it's true. And he did just see a Saboir, so maybe that's not the case anymore. Maybe you're not thinking that the Saboir is an option anymore because you bypassed the first one.
Mm-hmm.
So interesting choice. I don't actually mind that. Like, if you go face here, like, putting your opponent into Vengeance isn't really that big of a deal at this point. Like, if they play a Belphegor for free, who cares? And then you follow that up with a Blood Moon to set up for an Emerald the next turn to just try to push a bunch of damage before Tempest comes down. This could be a complete line of play.
Because if they do play Belphegor, it probably has to kill itself on the 6th one anyway.
Right.
So.
Absolutely.
He does go for Blood Moon.
So I believe he is going to attack if he's playing Blood Moon here.
Yeah. Okay. I like it.
That Righteous Devil draw was very good.
Yeah.
But he has a lot of options here. He could try to Belphegor just to find something and play a Mask of Black Death if he doesn't find anything, and still not Evo if he really doesn't want to.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of options here.
Just goes for Saboir, so like I said, net 4 puts him to 12 again.
Puts him to 12. Emeralda could drop him as low as 6.
Without Temptress Vampire to follow up the next turn, though, I don't think that's...
He might wait one turn on the Emeralda, right?
Yeah.
Could be just an easy blood pack like Diabolic Drain turn. Fill up the hand, set up for the endgame, maybe even draw into another Temptress Vampire to keep the chain going.
Mm-hmm.
Easily could do any number of things. I think Blood Pact is where I would start. Refill up the hand. You have plenty of ways to dump cards. Oh.
Goes for his own Saboir.
That was not a play I was thinking of. This doesn't set up a bad next turn, though. This sets up possibly or potentially more damage with the Emeralda to finish into the Temptress. So I dig it. If that's the play, then I imagine that Vampiric Kiss is coming out
Right,
here
I was
as
going to
well.
say Vampiric Kiss must be the follow-up here. Because Drain doesn't make sense to follow up with this.
No. If you're playing the Saboir, yeah.
There was nothing to be afraid
Okay, and this will just be a pass. See what JaZe does to answer this. Playing a Righteous Devil doesn't feel good. Belphegor doesn't feel good.
Gets his own Blood Pact, I do believe.
Maybe starting with Blood Pact if you don't find anything. Righteous Devil, trade Bane for Bane, gain some life. This is actually more of a tense early game than we saw definitely in the last game. This could easily be over with Gengur just going aggressive.
It's possible, but Righteous Devil being a safety valve for that is making me say otherwise.
And these are turns that both players specifically need to spend a lot of time on because they could matter a whole lot. A whole lot more than the last game's early turns, for sure. That Azazel's kind of like a nice life cushion, too. Like, I didn't even think about this, but like on turn 10 or something like that, if you get really low, you could just like Azazel Mask of Black Death and just be like super safe again and just put out a big follower.
That's true, yeah.
And like put your opponent into like some endgame territory for yourself.
You're effectively back at 15 if you do that.
Right.
So. But yeah, the excitement of Control Blood Mirrors. Always
It's here. It's here. I'm excited.
I can guess the most used emote in chat right now is Resident Sleeper.
So decides to pop the Mask of Black Death, at least a little bit. We saw this trick that JaZe did earlier.
Gets a Blood Moon off that draw, too.
So this doesn't actually prevent Emeralda going face if he wanted to kill the Mask of Black Death.
The Mask, right, yeah.
But decides not to go with that plan.
Diabolic Drain lines up pretty nicely on the Belphegor here.
I like Diabolic, and if you attack just with the Saboir, you're going to pop the Amulet, because it'll go to 1 and then pop at the beginning of JaZe's turn here.
Give it to me.
Right, it is still a countdown, so...
Decides not to play the second Saboir.
Yeah, it floats 5 play points.
Might have considered that. That would open up Revelation, of course, but using a Revelation on 2 Saboirs probably feels fine if you're
Yeah, I'm sure
Gengur.
Gengur will be fine with that.
Yeah. It's interesting. There's a lot of interesting plays he can make here. He could technically go for an Azazel here, but that seems super sketch.
It's very weird, yeah.
He could just play Odin, just play like Big Saboir essentially, and kill his opponents. just to present a threat, but he might want to save that for Bahamut Wars.
Mm-hmm.
So that leaves possibly just a Blood Pact to draw some cards again into the Righteous Devil, like we said was last turn. So,
well, Blood Pact would be kind of bad
Blood Pact
here.
would be bad if he didn't play something first. Yeah.
Right. Yes.
Because he does have 9 cards currently.
I mean, he could just go Moon into Devil.
Yeah, Moon Devil works too.
If he's willing to pop one of his Devils.
He's got 2, and he's got 2 Evo points left.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely not a bad situation.
Well, Devil with that evolve kind of just dies.
Mm-hmm.
So goes for an Odin. Wow.
Does decide to go for the Odin. Okay.
Odin on Saboir. Okay.
And these, with Emeralda and Temptress now, I'm really just tempted, literally, for Gengur to play the
He
Emeralda.
passes. He floats in 7 play points. Not even playing Blood Moon.
What is so? Okay, so in my mind now, he decided to go aggressive, and now he's switching to defensive.
Mm-hmm.
But he's the player with lower cards. He's got 24 to JaZe's 25. So he decided to switch gears, and I think that might have been a mistake. And he just wants to play reactively now, but that's not. I don't think that's the way to go. Just throwing away a Mask of Black Death here, that 2 damage from Righteous Devil doesn't really mean anything.
He's stalling for something.
Yeah.
I don't know what.
Maybe he really just thinks that Maelstrom Serpent is his, like, way to victory here?
Right. That is his last Blood Moon, so it's likely he's saving that until Maelstrom Serpent's playable.
That's really the only guess. It's functionally weird, though, like, going the aggressive route and then falling back onto I'm going to be reactive with lower cards in your deck, with cards you know that are easily counterable by your opponent.
Right.
So I think right now, if all things considered, JaZe might just play it like that as well and just go to the end and not care. I think he's got a huge edge here. He's got way more options in his hand currently. He's got another Odin in his deck as opposed to a Serpent. So
Right.
definitely more answers to Bahamut.
JaZe kind of has to consider, you know, why Gengur's flipping the switch here, though.
Right.
So JaZe's going to spend this entire turn overthinking himself, probably. Oops, slaps the Matriarch down.
No, decides to start going a little bit aggressive himself. No Revelation in hand for Gengur. Okay, never mind.
Never mind. Yep, Sarcast Revelation pass.
Yep. Again, really
it seems
don't...
apparent to me now that he thinks that. He thinks that the Serpents are his play.
Yeah. I mean, that's the only thing it could be. It's the only thing that's interesting to me is, like, players adding Mask of Black Death to their deck, and, like, we've seen less, and now Gengur just doing things with their Mask of Black Death that don't make a lot of sense.
Right.
And we're probably going to go down to low cards again, and...
Both players kind of just playing Mask, like whatever, you're wrong, EXO, shut up. It's a follower.
I guess.
It does damage.
Now JaZe throwing away a Mask, I'm not sure why. Maybe just to prevent Temptress from going face.
Which I don't think he'd care about, really.
I don't think you care about.
Yeah, because you Temptress the Temptress back, and you're just in the same spot.
Right, or even just Bahamut it, really. It's also, like, interesting. So the way JaZe and Gengur are playing, it's like, I'm going to play a Mask. And it's like, well, I'm forcing you to play out a follower, so they do. It's like they kind of follow the leader here. They're, like, playing into each other's plays. It's very interesting. You could literally just say go and forget about the amulet, you know what I mean?
Offer your life to me.
And Vampire on Vampire, just like I said it would happen.
Yep. And
Kind
yeah,
of trading resources, but JaZe's last 3 draws have been
100% right now, if JaZe doesn't do anything proactive, he will win the game. He has every single answer he could possibly need against what Gengur has in his deck.
Can legit just Odin this. That'd
Yeah.
be fine.
Could Odin this, could even expend one of the Bahamuts here easily, because he has a backup Bahamut and he still has a bunch of Revelations we have still yet JaZe to draw yet, or still have yet to see him draw.
Yes, still
Yeah.
JaZe yet to draw JaZe.
Yeah,
yet to see
JaZe draw,
JaZe, yes.
JaZe yet.
I don't think
drawing.
he wants to pop his own Mask, though, is the thing.
He
So,
doesn't. No. If he played the Mask, he definitely doesn't want to get it. To be fair, though, like, he could just pass, and then, like, the Mask will take care of the first 5 damage of the Temptress.
Floating 10 play points. What a game. What a world.
What a wild.
At least play the Blood Moon, right?
Maybe. Maybe you don't even need to. Like I said, JaZe literally doesn't have to do anything proactive this game. I think he's got extra numbers of Bahamut's. And he's got 3 Revelations still left in his deck, again, to answer any boards that Gengur could put together.
It's true.
I do think he's overthinking his turns a little bit too much, though. I think he's putting too much into it.
He's diving.
If I was in JaZe's spot right now, I would just be literally past going until Gengur did stuff, and I'd be answering.
Draw go, draw go, draw go. Vampire on vampire again.
Yep.
Over so soon.
He's definitely like diving into the think tank right now.
Right.
And he doesn't need to be. He can like float on the surface and be fine.
It's an important match, though. I won't take anything away from these players. They're playing under their nerves. In the top 6, this is elimination match time, and neither player wants to go home, aka back to their bed. Yeah, I don't see any way Gengur actually pulls himself out of this. He had a really good game plan early in the game and just didn't stick with it. I know I've said it multiple times. I didn't know that Gengur would be one of the players I'd be saying it about.
Right, yeah. It's not characteristic of him to just switch like that.
Yeah, just
JaZe's last
everything.
4 draws have been gas.
Yeah, just everything. Now, if JaZe randomly makes the play of Belphegor at some point, he could just put himself into the losing position too. So that's that's something to be aware of. If these players don't think the same way that I do, which is very possible, then they could just not understand that drawing that extra card matters. But this level of play, I highly doubt it.
Gengur holding all 3 Emeraldas. Doesn't want to play any of them.
And I'll mention, this is not an easy match to navigate. Like, I might be saying it's like, you know, more cards, he lasts until the end, but like we said that last time, and Les just gave it away, you know what I mean? So, it's much harder than it may seem on the surface. So while I say JaZe might have this, there could be some play that Gengur could put together that I don't know about that could just take over this game.
It's Maelstrom Serpent. Clearly.
Clearly.
Gengur, you know, you gotta save Emeraldas for Bahamut, but what do you do about this random Righteous Devil?
Right, and I think JaZe knows that. He's like, I want to start baiting out all this stuff that I have to worry about. Like, I know that the only things you have left right now, literally, are like 3 Emeraldas, 2 Serpents, and however many Bahamuts in your deck. If I can manage those cards, the game's over. And I believe Gengur only has 1 Mask of Black Death left.
Yep.
I'm not sure how relevant that's going to be with a decking war, but...
Passes.
Just passes. Says, I'm just going to give it to you, my friend. Now, overdrawing could become a concern, too. Because, for instance, JaZe doesn't have a need to play any of his Blood Moons. I mean, he actually has cards like Blood Moon, and so does Gengur for the 1 Blood Moon. But once those cards are gone, there's either card draw or like followers that might be relevant to play. Belphegor can't be played, at least on the side of JaZe at the moment. It's going to get really tough if they just decide not to do anything against each other, and it's just playing right into JaZe's hand. Like, Gengur passing, every single turn he does that, JaZe's just like, that's 1 more turn. I am to victory.
Whoa!
Wow, I like this play a lot.
The last turn of his Mask of Black Death going for the Azazel. He's probably going to evolve this Righteous Devil, even.
I like it.
JaZe getting tired of this matchup.
Yeah, he's like, I don't need to wait.
Yep.
Check this out.
No mercy.
And a 4/7's hard to get rid of.
It is.
It's next to a 7/7.
Yep, Emeralda can clear one of these, but not both.
Never
mind. Draws.
I was kidding the whole time.
The second time, I was literally going to say no Revelation. Right off the top, Revelation, here it is again. Revelation's kind of scary still, though. Like, you need to gain life. Now, if you don't play the Saboir or the Diabolic Drain, you're getting closer and closer into range of maybe even, like, Blood Moon Emeralda Evolve Face. You know what I mean? So
I think the Diabolic Drain's safe enough to play, but you also have the Mask, too, so.
Right. So you got to be a little defensive here.
Like, realistically, this is kind of like pseudo pressure.
Right.
Since Gengur's deck is, you know, answers.deck.
Right.
You know, we've been talking this whole time about JaZe's answers, but Gengur also has plenty of them.
Well, the answer's correct. That's what I'm saying. So both decks being equal, every deck having exact answers to everything, just like the last Blood Mirror, the person with the more cards technically has the advantage, and it basically puts the pressure on the opposing player.
chose to pop an Emeralda instead of the Revelation. A big difference here being that Revelation can't kill Bahamut. Well, Emeralda can't.
Right. Like, realistically, I think JaZe's just thinking, like, I have a certain way I need to win, but he doesn't need to do anything. I really just don't want to see him throw this away randomly by, like, overextending his resources when he doesn't need to.
Yeah, like, I would hate to see a Bahamut answer this.
Right.
I mean, he could literally just pass the turn. There's no
Right.
reason for a Bahamut to come down.
Pass the turn, take one more look at things, then maybe rev.
Yeah. Like, you don't care.
Right.
This thing's not doing... It's not doing 6. Doing 4, who cares? Wow.
Okay. I actually don't mind that either. It doesn't really matter. Again, already has 2 Bahamuts for Maelstrom Serpents if he needs them.
There's a Belphegor. Gengar already down on cards. Kind of, you know, whatever.
So he's
Belphegor.
okay to play the Belphegor.
Yeah.
Because he's the one that has to win.
Him playing the Belphegor actually opens up JaZe to play a Belphegor, though.
That's true.
So, because he keeps that distance.
That's true.
Well, more likely a Blood Plaque since Belphegor does tend to use, so probably don't want to do that.
Right. I mean, but again, he does have double Blood Moon just taking up space in his hand.
True. Belphegor, pretty good lead for this game, this turn. I don't know, like, you draw for free here.
Now, I would be, like, speaking of everything about what I said before the tournament started, JaZe, I thought, had put in counters for exact specific person. If he just clear cuts 3-0 here, I'm going to completely reverse my idea of JaZe and say that he does belong. And not just belongs, but he deserves to be a champion again. Like, he built his decks with very specific purpose in mind, and he's executing them crazily well. A lot better than I thought he was going to. I was scared for him the entire time, right after he beat Bottles, but he's showing me definitely a new side of him.
Pretty fast Blood Moon there from him into a pass. There's Serpents!
All right, this is what he's been waiting for.
There it is!
Yeah.
I mean, here it is, Gengar. It's your card. It's your boy, Bahamut, in the face.
This is, of course, going to force out a Bahamut.
Mm-hmm.
And again, remember, Gengar only has access to 2 of these Maelstrom Serpents.
Mm-hmm.
They're not an infinite resource here. Not only that, but doing a Maelstrom Serpent when you have a Mask in play basically just gives more value to Bahamut.
Pops his own Blood Moon, so whatever, right? You even said yourself, Mask may not matter at all.
You're right. Now, this has to be responded by Emeralda.
Time for fun and games.
Emeralda pretty good, I heard. She can pop Bahamut.
And now we're in pre-Maelstrom Serpent. Again, same exact situation.
Because double Diabolic Drain.
Yep.
You're kidding.
Well, that was fun for a few seconds.
Yeah. Yep, and realistically, Gengar's just going to push the button down, and it's going to end a lot faster than him just going in 12 more cards. I feel like a Belphegor is going to come out in some amount of time as well.
I want it.
Yep, even right now.
Gold to me.
Second Serpent.
I think Gengar's kind of realizing, too, that's why he threw out the Serpent as immediately as he did. It's just like, I have to have these stick before he has the right answers for them.
Right. Because, you know, JaZe still has 14 cards in his deck. What if he doesn't have Bahamut, right?
What if he
Like,
doesn't have one of his Bahamuts
what if he
or Revs?
doesn't?
Yeah. That's like the best chance you have instead of giving him the entire rest of the game to find the cards, so.
It is kind of odd, though, seeing him revelate literally a 4-1 and nothing else.
Right. And then
likely has access to more board
He likely has
players.
access
Yeah.
to more, but maybe even the best chance would have been waiting for the second Serpent to play him back-to-back just to give the least amount of chance.
Probably. And again, I mean, playing Blood Moon right before it gets
I
wiped.
want it. It's like gold to me.
Oh, wow.
Double Emeralda.
Not a bad draw from a Belphegor there.
Okay, this one's all.
And like you said, Belphegor opening up the access for Belphegor to be played by JaZe to draw more cards.
Right. Because he's really just keeping a gap. If you look at the bottom left and top right,
Yep.
JaZe's deck count is currently 3 higher, so.
Absolutely.
Give it to me.
Here comes another Serpent, here comes
There we
second
go.
Bahamut.
I almost want to say as soon as JaZe plays a Bahamut here, Gengar just scoops. Even though he has the answer to it, like, how does he win the game?
With his own Bahamuts.
But we know that JaZe hasn't even played Emeraldas yet, and he's still got a stock of
Yeah,
them.
that's true. don't know. Gengur's not a quitter. Gengur doesn't quit.
I wouldn't
Ever.
say he would quit. I mean, I would just be in a position where I'd be like, all right. You had the cards, you needed them.
I mean, this is truly the excitement of Control Blood versus Control Blood.
This one a little bit less exciting because we don't really see the aggressive side of it here. We did for a second. Gengur had it, but then yeah, just decided he didn't want to be aggressive anymore. That's okay.
Got very timid out of nowhere.
Yeah, Gengur is not going home if he loses this match, so he's still well in it.
Oh yeah, this is only game 1. Believe it or not, it's game 1.
Yeah, game 1, guys.
We're still at game 1.
Yep, and even if he loses the match, he's not going home. So don't worry for Gengur yet.
You're kidding! No!
No, he's still holding cards. He's keeping them in his hand. Like third Emeralda.
I would just Odin this. We've seen him Odin a Saboir before. I want to see it again.
Yeah.
Let's go. Odin just big enough to not to get answered by Saboir also.
True. Wow.
That's an interesting play.
Revelation on just a 2/4.
Why not?
Sinners be
Double Righteous Devil is gonna be kind of a punish to Revelation there.
And a Baphomet? Yeah. Oh, I would have probably played the Baphomet too. I don't see
Well,
why
I mean,
not.
you draw even more cards. So
Eh.
JaZe playing a Baphomet. Hungering Horde. Righteous Devil is the same name as Righteous Devil, so
Yes, it is.
Quench
you
them.
dare defy?
All right, just kind of doing the cleanup thing.
Bahamut.
All right, so that's kind of like the last-ditch effort that Gengur had. This is what we talked about before. He's got Serpents, he's got Bahamut's. Now, can he bait out Odin and Double Emeralda in the
No.
next 5 turns
No.
so that Bahamut can't be killed?
No.
No mercy.
Gengur will die in 5 turns. JaZe, all he has to do is not draw cards. Just don't draw cards.
Yep.
Resist the urge.
Yeah, using the Revelation might come back to bite him. I hope that's not like...
He wasted 2 of them.
That's true.
He popped 1 on a 4/1 and
That's
then 1 on a
true.
2/4.
If that comes back to bite him of all of the plays of this match...
It may be possible that he knows Gengur has to have Bahamuts left somewhere.
Yeah,
And Odin can kill Bahamut and Revelation can't.
that's true.
So that has to be the only reason he did that. JaZe drew a card. I just said not to do that. He drew a card that draws cards.
It's okay.
And he
though.
wasted his Odin.
He had 1 more card to draw.
He also wasted his Odin. So
Gengur's like, oh yeah, baby. He's like, you wasted that Odin? I don't get it. Bahamut time. Bahamut time? Attack Bahamut? That is a lethal setup.
even still, we know it's not.
Yeah, we know it's not. We knew it wasn't for about the last 10 turns, to be fair. He had the double Bahamut and still access to all the Emeraldas left at that time.
Mm-hmm. This is basically up to JaZe to lose, pretty much.
If he draws 1 more card, he could lose.
Yeah.
But I think the way he's been playing this, he knows exactly the level of cards
Obviously,
he needs to be
yes.
at.
Yeah, I mean, it's displayed right there.
Right.
You know, used to you had to click your deck to find out, and you could mess up, I guess. But no, not when it's in a nice little panel.
I'll tell you one card that you have to be really careful with is Altered Fate. I've definitely Altered Fate killed myself before. That is a pretty hilarious way to lose. Because you play Altered Fate and you're like, yeah, I'm going to win, and then you're just like, oh!
Bahamut coming down.
There it is. Does the lethal setup.
I mean, speaking of Altered Fate as well, Path to Purgatory is active for Gengur.
That's
if
true.
you add it.
That is true. Alright, Emeralda comes down to answer the Bahamut.
Second Bahamut.
Gengur, I don't know if he has anything left.
He can't cast any of these cards. He literally can't play anything except Revelation and Blood Moon.
Yep. JaZe just kind of sitting there with the win. Doesn't even need to do anything. Could just pass.
Doesn't have to do anything. Literally don't play anything. Don't even attack.
Do not misclick on any of the card draw cards in your hand, JaZe.
Don't even attack,
That's why I would end the turn more than anything.
Yeah.
Just so I don't accidentally go flick. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, Righteous Devil, whatever, why not, right?
Yep. Setting up a board. This will allow Gengur to rev, but again...
Just kind of going through the motions, honestly.
Yep.
You dare defy?
This mirror will be forced to end. Finally.
It will be forced to end. And this will just be a pass from JaZe.
Mm-hmm. Turn 29. 29!
There's the second Bahamut. Here it comes.
I said 22. I said 20. Turn 30. We're at turn 30!
This, of course, will be answered by Emeralda.
Yep.
Gengur will have one draw step left.
Oh man, you beat me.
Nope, not even gonna look at it.
Not going to look.
I don't even want to see that last card.
What a game. Not as exciting as the last one, but definitely a slugfest.
30 turns.
That's like Rocky Balboa versus, you know, what was it, Ivan Drago in Rocky 4, where they went like all the rounds?
30 turns.
Ridiculous.
30.
So it looks like we have Forest left for JaZe. We're going to see if Forest can do this. Forest is
Right.
like the big wild card here.
I mean, does he have Roach? I don't think he has Roach.
Does he have Roach?
I don't think he does.
No, he doesn't have Roach.
I forgot what every
No.
character's playing. Because it's been 2 days.
Right, it's been 2 days since the last match. Absolutely. So JaZe coming in with Wallet neutral Forest. So basically Dragon oriented
gosh.
Forest.
Okay.
And then we've got mid sword from Gengur here, aka neutral sword, mid sword, whatever you want to call it these days.
Right. Nice.
Those are my favorite types of redraws. When you're like, I really want to get rid of these two cards or this card, and you just get
You
it
draw
back
them right
again.
back,
You're just
yeah.
like, all right, thanks. This has been fun.
Good job, Deck. I feel like your beard is noticeably longer now. I feel
Is
like
it?
yeah.
Than yesterday?
No, than before that blood game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, it's just been that
yeah,
long.
It's like down to like my belly button now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Those were some games.
A game.
All right.
That was
no,
a game.
Yeah. Well, both of the blood matchups. but
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah. All right. I don't know if JaZe's gonna fall asleep either. I can't tell.
He looks like he might. Yeah.
He's just like, He's on point though. And as we noticed the trend on the play, neutral, have Alice in hand. Never fails.
Cinderella even.
Yep, Cinderella, great curve.
Until tomorrow, I'll dance.
I don't even imagine him trading here. Okay.
Yeah, might as well. Mostly because Sylvan Justice would have been really good.
That's true.
So. Oh, Elf Twin.
Ooh, Elf
Ooh.
Twins. Perfect draw. I think the same exact thing we saw against, or JaZe when he played against Neutral Sword the last time.
Mm-hmm.
Cinderella played, top decked, or maybe not even top decked, but Elf Twin Assault. That Alice not getting any
Gengur.
value.
Gengur just, man.
0 value Alice.
Yep.
Next turn, yeah, this draw is just not any good anymore from Gengur. Had the early draw. That Elf Twin's Assault just picked him right apart.
JaZe might just win off that.
Yep. Has Hector back up, has Sock Wills already.
Let's play again.
I don't even know if he plays big drops in his Force deck, because we haven't seen him yet. We haven't seen Israfils. Maybe we saw
Right.
a Lucifer.
Well, Carrot Engine's going now at least, so there's that.
Yep, some amount of value here.
On the warfield, a shining helmet.
Now, JaZe can really just be the aggressor here and just start popping. Doesn't need to trade at all.
It's going to allow Rabbit Ear to draw a card here, but
Mm-hmm.
don't think you care too much about that.
I think that's okay. Could go whole souled into attacking with the carrot, into Cinderella Evo, or Rabbit Ear Evo. Okay. Or no Evo if he's playing the Rabbit Ear.
Right.
I'm sorry.
That's kind of weird. Leaves the 4/5 on board to go face again.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't care about the aggression that JaZe has.
Right.
You are
Never
done
mind.
for.
What?
This a little interesting. This makes Lyriel an insanely good play this turn.
Oh yeah. And here it is too.
Gimme.
No, never mind. Never lucky.
Well, he has the Lyriel already.
Oh, does he? Oh,
Yeah.
it's blended in there. In between two sock wheels.
Right in between the sauce.
Won't be
Yep.
long now.
That Evo, I don't see. I honestly don't see that one.
Done.
That was weird. For sure.
Because he doesn't even have a Lyriel in his own hand to back the play up.
Right. And now it's over. The game is over.
Yeah, there's not really much Gengur can do.
Mm-hmm.
Play a bunch of followers, Evo one, just kind of do this straightforward sword thing, but
And JaZe. Wow.
yeah, just like that.
Knocking Gengar to losers.
GG.
Poor Gengar.
Gengur
No.
scooping it up, it looks like.
Yeah.
Should have foreseen
Yeah, he
this.
did.
Man.
JaZe with the verbal. I read that. Oh my gosh.
JaZe
I read
is
that.
ecstatic. And his run has been an absolute tear.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's been doing incredibly well. And
I gotta
he's
hand it
setting
to him.
himself up, again, for a 2-time back-to-back.
That's right.